Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. So it has been a minute since I have posted a long form video on this channel. I do have two YouTube channels. My main channel is beauty focused. I just finished doing some filming for that channel, but this is second channel I started in January of this year, and I have videos that are a little bit more like vlog style, and they're focused more on healthy living, my daily routines, healthy habits, inspired living, and that sort of thing. I talk about goals, I share about my day, things like that. But it has been over a month since I've posted a long form video on this channel, and I just wanted to do a check-in and kind of explain where I've been, but also I wanted to kind of touch on my May goals and why I didn't really achieve any of them. And kind of talking a little bit about what my outlook is like for June. And I'm coming to you in a different space, so I think I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to have this first video be something great. The next video that I have on my list actually that I've been wanting to do for this channel is a what I eat in a day. And my initial thought was I was going to do a what I eat in the day and have my commentary be checking in on my May goals. So I did something similar for April, I believe that it was. I think it was just kind of like a day in my life where I was like making a meal prepping or something along those lines, and just kind of talking about my goals. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll just film this in the bedroom and have it be a little bit more of a cozy video. But I just got done filming for my podcast, and I have to leave in about a half hour to go to a business dinner. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna film this right here at my desk. This is where I normally am. And really the main thing of this one is it's just more of like a chatty talk through video. I don't really think I make the most aesthetic videos anyways. But an aesthetic like day in my life is just not, it's not really the vibes going on in my life right now. Like I said, it's been over a month since I've posted a regular long form video here, but I do still post all of my podcasts here. So every single Wednesday I have a new podcast episode. My podcast is called Start Inspired. I've had it now for about 3 years, but I just brought it back this year as well, especially when I started the second channel. I thought it would be a really good place to also film the YouTube videos for it to put over here, because they also goes up on like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So you still have been getting those weekly videos from me. But looking over my May goals and what I had for myself, I break my goals down into 6 different kind of like themes, if you will. I don't know where that's popping into my head, but I have professional, personal, self-care, community, health, and financial. So like I said, I really didn't get a lot of these accomplished, and I need to do a little bit of a pivot for June. But one of my goals, like my professional goal, was to hit my word count goals for my 10th novel. So I am also a self-published author of 9 books. I released my 9th book in December of 2022. And I have been actively writing my 10th book. And I will say in the month of May, I wrote 0 words. Not even that I didn't hit my word count goals, I literally did not write a word for my 10th book in May. And I'm just going to go through this really quickly because I've talked about it on my other channel and my other social media platforms, and I have mentioned it in the podcast as well. But May 1st, actually, my dog got diagnosed with cancer. So she, that first week was very confusing, multiple vet appointments, being referred to a specialist, going to the ER. There was a lot going on. I was really devastated in the beginning because they had told me I only had days left with her. Like if she made it weeks, that was going to be really significant. But they did not think that she would make it even 5 days to her first chemotherapy appointment. My dog is my best friend. I've had her for 9 years. She has been with me through a lot. And I just, treat her like she's my child. I don't have any kids. I'm divorced. I live alone. I'm single, all those things. And my dog is definitely my best friend. So I really had a hard time, especially in the beginning of May. That first week, I really struggled to get out of bed. I struggled to eat. work out, take walks, anything like that. I was really having a hard time. And unfortunately, my life kind of came to a pause. You know, my planner that I have in front of me that I write in every single day, I wrote in it on May 2nd, and then the next time that I wrote in my planner was May 18th. And it really was like my world had just stopped. May 2nd, I took her in on May 1st. May 2nd, they called me to say that they thought they found cancer in her lungs. May 3rd, we were back. May 4th, we were at the ER. May 5th, we were at the oncologist. And that following Wednesday, she started chemotherapy. So if you can see her in the frame, she is still with us. Her prognosis now that she has taken the chemotherapy and done well, she's had 2 appointments. We're looking at maybe a couple of months together, which is really exciting. To be able to have this time, make these memories, take all the photos, take the videos, eat the good food, all those things. So of course, a lot to be grateful for, that the prognosis was not what they originally thought that it would be. So I'm very grateful for that. But that is kind of why everything came to a halt. I could not even think about writing words for my book. And with everything going on and how many appointments we had and just my immense sadness, it was really difficult for me to work as well. And I was just doing my best to continue to put out regular YouTube content, especially on my main channel, because this channel is now monetized, but I don't actually really make money off of it. Whereas my main channel is also, you know, my main source of income. So I really tried to put energy into making videos over there and staying up to date over there and working on my brand. And one thing that's a little bit hard about my career, and I said this in a podcast episode as well, is like when I lost my grandmother, I actually was working at a hospital and I asked to work overtime because it took my mind off of it. Making appointments, scheduling labs, scheduling, you know, doctor's travel, like that was really easy for me to go and just kind of escape into that. Whereas my work, I do share my personal life. My dog is in almost all of my videos. My whole community knows my dog. So it just, my work and my personal life don't really have lines drawn. The lines are very blurred between the two. So that's why I was having such a harder time getting back into my regular work. And I just felt like a few things had to go on the back burner when it came to my career, because I do wear a lot of different hats. And my book was one of them that I was like, I cannot concentrate. I just can't do it. So I didn't hit any of my word count goals for my 10th book, which is really disappointing. I have it now on my list. I'm like, you got to get back into it in June. You have to at least get this first draft ready and out to your beta readers, because I do not want to have so much time. I'm in the middle of writing a series. I don't want to have a huge length of time in between releasing my books, but we're gonna get back into it. My personal goal also gave me a good chuckle: be in bed before 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday. I mean, sometimes I was in bed before 10 p.m., but then I wasn't getting out of bed until 10 a.m. Sometimes I was in bed before 10 p.m., but I've noticed with Aries and everything that she has going on with her, she usually wakes up between 12 and 3 a.m. And sometimes, like last night, she woke up at 1:30 and she wanted food. She ate a whole meal and I was like, okay. Sometimes she needs to go to the bathroom. Sometimes she wants to go for a walk. And I am half awake walking through the parking lot of my apartment complex with my dog, like, oh my goodness. So my sleeping schedule, I put this as a personal goal because I really wanted to focus on getting a good night routine and a good sleep schedule. And that truly was just obliterated as well. Again, that first part of May, I really had a hard time just getting out of bed. Sleeping was also at the same time still really hard for me too, because I was so paranoid about her. Every time she moved, I was like, I just felt like I didn't know, especially those first few days where she was actually very sick. Before she started chemotherapy, that was, you know, definitely the sickest I've ever seen my dog. And I didn't know what to do. I felt like every time she would take a breath weird, it was her last one. And so I really wasn't sleeping either. I had some really great friends come and stay with me a few nights, and they offered to stay up with Aries, like if she woke up, just so I could sleep through the night. So my sleeping schedule is just all sorts of off. I usually take some medications at night to like help me relax and help me fall asleep, like the magnesium. And I'm not doing that anymore because like I don't want to be in too deep of a sleep, because I don't want to miss if something happens, if she needs to go outside. You know, some nights she struggles with like diarrhea. Like I'm trying to make sure, like literally last night, like I'm trying to make sure that I get her outside and, you know, all of those things. So unfortunately my sleep schedule is not great right now, and truly like that just has to be what it is right now. Like I can't, there's really nothing else I can do at this moment. And it's one of those other things too that's kind of hard with being alone and being single, is like I don't have someone to say like, hey, can I sleep through the night? Like it's like having like a newborn, you know. The first night that she actually did sleep through the night, which was probably 3 weeks after like into the whole ordeal, I remember like texting my friends like, she slept through the night. I was like, it literally sounds like I have a newborn child. But it's hard because a lot of it is on me. But I take my role as dog mom very seriously, and you know, for health reasons, I had really been working on my stress levels, lowering my cortisol levels, and I was really focused on my night routine and sleep schedule for that. But we're just gonna have to work back. We're just gonna have to, you know, work on that at a later time. Self-care was to schedule massages and lymphatic drainage. I did have a lymphatic drainage appointment the day that I found out everything, so I took her to the vet on a Monday. I actually got a text message on Tuesday while I was at my lymphatic drainage. I saw the text message when I was done with my appointment. I did not schedule a massage this month because I really didn't leave my apartment. I went to 2 different dinners, one business, one with a friend, and that was all I did in May. So I left my apartment 2 times. So I just didn't feel up for doing things like that, which I know that I do need to make this a priority for June. I know that I do need to focus on self-care, even if it's doing things at home, doing lymphatic drainage at home, maybe even buying, I used to have like a massager thing that you like put around your shoulders, like maybe purchasing something like that. If I'm still not super comfortable like getting out there and doing different appointments. But I do know that I need to prioritize self-care, taking care of myself the best that I can with what life has given me right now. It's very important because I need to make sure that I'm in a good space so I can also take care of Aries for sure. But self-care got a little away from us as well in May. For my financial was to follow the May Healthy Habits calendar. I do feel like I did pretty decent at this, and about halfway through the month of May, I really started to get on it. So I put out a Healthy Habits calendar every other month. So in May, this one was focused on money. So each day had a different goal, a journal prompt, something like putting money into savings, making a debt payment, things like that. And it's just a free download on my website, which is by Samantha March. So the next calendar will be in July. Again, it will be free download. You can go to bysamanthamarch.com and sign up for our newsletter list, and that will get you notified when the new calendar is ready. And I felt like I was doing really well because I was working on the calendar ahead of time. Since I already had it planned, it was already out there. I was going through the first week and already completing everything off that. You know, I also make these calendars for myself. It's not just for other people to download. I do that. I genuinely do them too. I started this on my own years ago. And what's so funny is I was debating whether if I wanted to tell this story or not, but I feel like maybe it kind of fits in here because it's actually thanks to Aries that I started to do these calendars. It was one summer. I had been trying to get pregnant with my ex-husband. It wasn't working out. We just kept seeing negative tests every single month. I was really sad. I felt like my marriage wasn't very strong either. And there was one day where I was definitely really struggling with my mental health. It's always been a struggle for me. And I was just laying on my bathroom floor, just crying so hard, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I feel like everything was falling apart around me. I wasn't happy with where my career was. I didn't feel like I was financially secure yet. We had just bought a big house and I was really worried about that. We'd moved to a small town and I'm not really a small town kind of girl. And I just felt very much like I had no idea what was going on with my life or how to fix it. And I was laying in my floor just straight crying, and my dog came in and licked my face and looked at me like, get up, and let's go do something else. And I took her to, we lived like near a lake. I took her for a walk around the lake. And while I was walking, it was like just like a really nice day, and I was listening to a podcast, and I just was like thinking over things like, what can I do? What can I do? And I thought, I love schedules. I love schedules. I love routines. I love calendars. I love challenges. I love being able to check things off. I love to-do lists, all of that. And I thought, what if I just did one small thing every single day? And eventually I was like, I could put this on a calendar, and it could just be one really small thing for myself, but it would give me something to look forward to every day. I was to the point where I was having a really hard time understanding like why I was waking up, which was obviously getting to be very scary for me. And I thought, if I can give myself one small thing to look forward to every single day, that will help me get up and get out of bed and get a move on. That's where the calendars started. So if it hadn't been for my dog, you know, kind of everything changed. My whole life changed after that. I kept continuing with these calendars. And then in August of 2019, I did it online. And so many people joined in with me. And for months later, they kept saying how much that calendar meant to them. And they kept re-downloading that same calendar. And it eventually started my brand. I got strong enough to leave my marriage. I got strong enough to leave my home state of Iowa and move to my dream city and start over in my 30s. All because of that. Like, I slowly worked up the confidence to be able to make those changes in my life. So those calendars are really important to me. I follow all of them. So I had already started working on the first half of May, and I had quite a bit done because I was also getting newsletters ready to go, and I was saying like, this is how I'm doing it, this is what I'm focusing on, just to give people some inspiration or motivation. And then I really tried to pick it up about halfway through the month when I was like, Samantha, you have to slap out of it, you need to get it together. Like, quite honestly, like, I'm a little bit embarrassed that I was in such a bad shape, because people go through hard things all of the time, and you have to bounce back. Like, you have to go to your job, you have to take care of your kids, your family, your house, your apartment, like, people go through hard things and harder things than what I'm going through every single day. And I feel like everyone that I've seen go through hard times has handled it so much better than me. And I remember one of my friends that I was talking to recently, and she kept saying, you're so strong. And I said, honestly, I don't feel strong. I said, I completely fell apart. Like, it was kind of embarrassing, you know? And, you know, of course, my friend was like, everybody handles things differently. And it's all about, like, even if you reacted badly in the moment, it's all about how you come back and you get back to it. And that's what you're doing. And I was like, okay. But I knew that I had to get a handle on things, get back to it. And so I was able to pick back up the calendar. I was able to pick back up the newsletters. There's still a few days that I want to come back to, and luckily, like, when you download the calendar, it's yours. You can print it out, you can, you know, download it and keep coming back to it. But there's a few days that I didn't get to, just with everything going on, that I want to come back to. But also, you know, it's kind of hard for me because I had a specific financial goal that I've been working towards this year. That's also out the window. That's done. So I have to reconsider what I want my financial goals to be, and that has to be like a sit down moment and try to figure out what it is I want with my financial goals now, because I was planning to build a really strong savings to be able to buy a house. But to be honest, if I don't have my dog, I don't want a house. No. And also, like, my savings right now is going to all of her vet bills, because it is very expensive. Again, she's in chemotherapy. It's about $1,500 every single time, 6 of those. There's a lot going on. So I just need to have a day where I sit down and I reconsider my financial goals for the rest of 2023, because they have changed in a big way. I have to say that I'm really proud of this one, because it was my health goal was 3 months no Starbucks, and I did that. And I'm really proud of myself, because when everything was happening in May, I was like, I I wasn't eating the best either. At one point I was living off of like Sprite and white cheddar popcorn. That was like a little bit embarrassing because I am more of a healthy eater, but I was kind of going to like comfort things, and like the iced chais from Starbucks are definitely comfort, and my friends were like, can I bring you Starbucks? And I'm like, no, I really want to stick with this. I was no Starbucks in March and April, and my goal was to make it to May because the drinks that I love and enjoy from Starbucks are so full of sugar, and I've been really trying to focus on cutting back on refined sugar. So I was like, no, you cannot have, don't do it. And that was the one thing that I really held firm to. Like, I wasn't eating great. I went to Dairy Queen, I went to Cold Stone, I was having pizza. Like, I mean, at one point I didn't eat for like 4 days. My stomach was concave. It was not good, but every time I tried to eat something, I felt like I was gonna vomit it back up. Like, I was not in a good place. But that was the one thing I stood firm on. So I have officially made it to 3 months, no Starbucks. I did tell myself once I did go to 3 months, if it's like, hey, every once in a while, this is your treat, great. But I kind of wanted to give myself, especially that mental challenge. I think challenges are just like very interesting. But they're just like, I want to say fun. Like, they're a fun thing to do for me, is to put myself through these challenges and like the calendars and all of that. But that was the one thing I really held firm to that. So achieved that. And then lastly, my community one was to finalize my Las Vegas retreat. Again, huge. I feel like things are so up in the air because I don't actually know when things are going to take a turn with my dog. You know, first they told me days. Then once she made it to chemo, they said once she's in chemotherapy and if she responds well, we're probably looking at 3 to 5 months. I was planning to host a Vegas retreat and to have it be around the October timeframe. I sent out a survey to my community and was like, what would you like to do? When would you like to come? How many nights? All those things. And it seemed like October was a really popular time frame. And I'm so worried because that falls right into that timeline. So I'm so afraid to put things out there and especially have people pay for something that I won't be able to deliver on, or I won't be in a good space, or things like that. It's such a worry of mine, and it's something that I started working on this week again and getting back into it. And I'm like, I don't know if I should just go for it and just cross my fingers and hope for the best and hope life doesn't smack me down again, because I had an influencer retreat planned for to happen in Charleston. I got the news on my dog 48 hours before I was supposed to leave. So I backed out of the trip because I just didn't feel, I mean, obviously if something would have happened to my dog when I was gone, I would have been horrified and devastated. So I wasn't able to go to that, and I'm like, if I can't make this happen, you know, my partner was with me for the Charleston trip, so she could still go. But with the Vegas people, like, I'm the one in charge, and we're coming to like all hang out together, and there's no other like lead that can take over for me. So it feels like a lot of pressure, and I'm not sure what to do or the best way to go about that, but it's something that I want to figure out. So that's those were my May goals. Didn't do great on them. One thing for June that I want to focus on is not so much having like these goals that I write out for myself, but to really focus on leaning into my healthy habits, the routines that I've built, the habits that I've made kind of automatic into my routine. That's what I want to focus on, and just make the month of June, as I'm like trying to come back, make it like even smaller pieces. Like, personal goals can be simply going back to like hitting a step count goal. That was something that became automatic to me. This is something else that I have a podcast episode on, is automating your habits. So it used to be one of my goals, and I would write it down on my goal tracker, and I would say I want to hit 5,000 steps every single day, and then I started to hit that every day, and then I went to 7,000 steps, then I went to 10,000 steps, then it went to, I don't need to put this on my goal list anymore, it's now an automatic habit of mine. That's something that's probably what will be my personal goal, is to 10,000 steps every day, because I started to really fall off of that. There was some days, I mean, that I just wasn't really leaving. So 10K steps every day. Oh, that could also be under a health goal. again, this is something that I'm gonna work on as well, and I could maybe do another video, maybe my actual like what I eat in the day. Maybe I can come back and refresh my June goals, and maybe that would be fun. But that's what I want to focus on for June, is those things that I have made automatic, and just be able to give myself some wins this month. So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit more, of sometimes when life does hand you something like this, or something worse, or it's just for whatever reason you're going through a hard time, fall back on what you've already made automatic. Fall back on what you've already made your routine, and celebrate that. That's what I was talking about in the Automatic Wins podcast episode, was celebrating those things that you've made automatic. Celebrate those things that you have made into your routine. And when something happens like this and you struggle to hit those kind of higher goals for yourself, because you're putting all your focus and attention into a loved one, into yourself, into your own health, whatever it may be, still have these healthy habits that you can still be proud of, that you still get to clap for yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do for the month of June. So that's what I wanted this video to be about. And I know this is kind of more podcast stylish, and I'm literally sitting in like where I'm like, I could have just thrown my headphones on and also made this another podcast episode. I just really wanted to come on and kind of do a little update here, in addition to this week's podcast episode, which was on a people pleaser mentality. So you can also check that one out too. Again, I thought maybe it would have been fun to do in my bedroom, but you know, I'm just trying to do the best that I can with what I have right now. So a little bit more podcast style video for my first full length one back, but I do want to get more into the vlogs. Again, it was a little bit harder because our daily routines look so different now, and like my apartment's always a mess, but it's even more of a mess. Like I said, it's not aesthetic at all at the moment. Like I'm looking at my kitchen like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna try to film a what I eat in the day in there. Like, so again, I'm just trying to do my best right now. Really grateful for all of the like support and love that has been shown from my community for myself and my dog right now. And I hope that you found this episode helpful. I really don't want my videos to all be sad. That's why my main channel, like I just did a Sephora haul, and I want to try some new makeup and make sure I keep my videos upbeat. But I don't know how to do a check-in on my goals for the month without having to share a little bit of my sadness. But I am really inspired when I was thinking about my June goals, and I was like, I don't know how to make goals. I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you get to fall back on all of the great habits and routines that you've made. This is the month where you get to cut yourself some slack, and you get to celebrate those little things that you do for yourself. Self-care. You know, the other night I did a hair mask. Great. Like, I love that. You know, hair mask, face mask nights. That's what I'm going to put down for June. And like, what a great way to celebrate self-care. It doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be something where I leave my apartment. It doesn't have to be something where you spend a lot of money. So I hope that this kind of inspired you or reminded you of that as well. And I just hope that you took something positive away from this video. But I will be getting back into my full-length videos, the more vlog style videos. Like I said, I want to do what I eat in the day, and I've seen that very requested. I've done a couple of shorts on that over here as well, but hoping that will be my next full-length video. And I appreciate listening to the podcast and all of the love the podcast has received recently, since it's the only videos that I've been putting up over on this channel. But we're halfway throughout the year. I don't know what the rest of the year will look like, but I'm just going to try to keep moving forward and be as positive as I can, and rely on my automatic habits to get me through some hard times. So thank you so much for watching, but I'm actually off to a dinner in Las Vegas, so time to go eat. Bye, thanks for watching.